All right, so are you ready to dive into something that you might not think is super exciting?
Oh yeah, hit me.
Skip-level meetings.
All right, I gotta admit, at first glance, not exactly the most thrilling topic.
I know, right? But trust me on this one, they're kind of like a secret weapon. Okay, maybe not a weapon, but a tool
A tool for what?
for unlocking some serious potential in your career and maybe even shaking things up a bit at your company, making things better.
Okay, now you've got my attention.
Good. Our guide for this deep dive is this guy, Dr. Jareau Almeyda. He's a senior business manager who actually did skip levels with his team.
How big was his team?
Over 80 people, so not a small operation. And he put together this whole system for making the most of these meetings.
He seems pretty serious about this.
Oh, yeah. He shared all his insights in a LinkedIn article. And get this, he even made a super detailed spreadsheet.
A spreadsheet? Hold on, I need to grab my coffee for this one.
I know, right? But spreadsheets can be cool sometimes. Anyway, there's one more thing about Dr. Almeyda that I think is really interesting. He was actually in the World Trade Center on 9/11.
Wow,
Yeah, it really shaped how he thinks about leadership and the human side of business.
I can only imagine.
And you can see that reflected in how he approaches skip-level meetings.
Okay, so let's break this down.
Yeah.
Skip-level meeting, your manager's manager.
Right, exactly. But Dr. Almeyda lays out 5 key benefits of these meetings.
5. Okay, I'm ready. Let's hear them.
All right, so the first one is building connection and rapport.
That sounds kind of touchy-feely for a business meeting.
I know, but it's important. It's easy to forget that everyone, even the higher-ups, are just people.
Yeah, you get caught up in the day-to-day, and it's like they become these titles instead of actual humans.
Exactly. And these meetings give you a chance to, humanize those in leadership positions, build relationships that aren't just about the hierarchy.
I can see that, especially in bigger companies where it's easy to feel disconnected from the people at the top.
Exactly. And to get that connection going, Dr. Almeyda even has some fun icebreaker questions in his materials.
Icebreakers? Like what?
Things like, what do you love most about your city? Or any new hobbies you've picked up lately?
It's amazing how those little questions can actually spark some pretty cool conversations.
Right. It's like you find out you both love to hike or you're both obsessed with the same obscure band.
Totally. So you're not just colleagues anymore. You're people who have things in common.
Exactly. All right. Benefit number 2. This is where things get really juicy.
Okay, lay it on me.
Company growth and innovation.
Interesting. Okay, explain that one.
So skip-level meetings can be this awesome way to tap into everyone's brains in the organization, like a collective brain power thing.
Yeah, go on.
You can get a sense of what's working, what's not, and where there's room for improvement.
So it's like a direct line of communication between the leadership and the people who are actually doing the work.
Exactly. And those people on the front lines often have the best ideas and insights.
Especially in fast-paced industries.
Right. You got it. The key is that these meetings can be a safe space for employees to share their ideas, even if they wouldn't feel comfortable talking to their direct manager.
Sometimes that dynamic can get in the way.
Right.
You don't want to step on your manager's toes.
Exactly. So Dr. Almeyda includes some really thought-provoking questions in his materials.
Examples, please.
Like, what do you think are the biggest challenges facing our industry right now? Or, if you had unlimited resources, what's one innovative project you'd love to tackle?
I love those. It's about empowering people to think big and contribute.
That's it. Now get ready for benefit number 3. This one's a little bit spicy.
Ooh, spicy. I like it. What is it?
Information and feedback gathering on managers.
Okay, now that sounds potentially dangerous.
It could be, but it's also a huge opportunity for both employees and managers.
I can see how it could go wrong, though. Like, what if someone gives negative feedback and then their manager finds out and retaliates?
Right. It's super important that people feel safe giving honest feedback.
And on the flip side, managers have to be open to hearing it and actually doing something with it.
Exactly. And Dr. Almeyda emphasizes that the feedback should be about making things better, not just complaining.
So, like constructive criticism.
Precisely. He suggests questions like, what are some things your manager does well that you'd like to see continue? Or are there any areas where you feel your manager could provide more support or guidance?
I like how those are phrased. It's not about attacking anyone. It's about making the working relationship better.
That's the whole point. Okay, benefit number 4 is similar to number 3, but it zooms out a bit.
Zooms out. How so?
It's about gathering information and feedback about the entire organization.
Okay, so bigger picture stuff, like how the company is run overall.
Exactly. You get insights into the company culture processes, all of it.
That can be really valuable for leadership, especially in a big company where it's easy to lose touch with what's actually happening on the ground.
It's like getting a 360-degree view of the company from the people who live and breathe it every day.
Okay, I'm seeing the value here. But how do you make sure people are actually giving honest feedback? I mean, they might be afraid to speak up, especially if they think their opinions don't matter.
That's a great point. And it's something Dr. Almeida addresses head on with his approach to organizing these meetings. And this is where that spreadsheet comes in.
The spreadsheet. Okay, now I'm really curious.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a bit. But first, we have one more benefit to cover.
Oh, right. I almost forgot. We're on number 5.
And this one's all about you, the listener.
Me. All right, tell me more.
It's about personal and professional growth.
My favorite topic.
Mine too.
Yeah.
So these meetings can be an amazing chance to get advice and insights from someone who's further along in their career than you are.
Like an informal mentor within the company.
Exactly. Someone who can give you a broader perspective on your career path and the company as a whole.
I like it. So it's not just about the company benefiting, it's also about you benefiting as an individual.
Exactly. And Dr. Almeida encourages people to come to these meetings with questions that can help them figure out their goals and make a plan for their career.
That kind of questions.
Things like, what skills should I be focusing on developing to advance in my career? Or, what are some common pitfalls people encounter in this role and how can I avoid them?
Okay, those are really good questions. Asking those shows that you're serious about your career and you're thinking ahead.
And it shows initiative, which is something any leader would appreciate.
All right, so to recap, we've got these 5 benefits: building connections, fostering innovation, gathering feedback on managers and the organization, and driving personal and professional growth.
You got it. That's the power of skip-level meetings.
It's about creating a better work experience for everyone involved.
Exactly. And to make all of this happen, Dr. Almeida has this whole system he created. And it all starts with his trusty spreadsheet.
The spreadsheet.
Yeah.
We're finally getting to the spreadsheet. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so imagine trying to organize skip-level meetings for a team of over 80 people.
Yeah, that sounds like a logistical nightmare.
It could be. But Dr. Almeida's spreadsheet turns that chaos into something manageable. And there's this one detail that shows how much he cares about making these meetings really count.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What's the detail?
In his spreadsheet, he actually has a system to make sure that people who report to the same manager don't end up in the same skip-level meeting group.
Interesting. Why is that important?
It's all about getting a diversity of perspectives in each group. If everyone in a group reports to the same manager, you're only getting one side of the story.
Right. So by mixing it up, you get a more representative sample of what's going on in the team.
Exactly. It's like creating these little think tanks where different ideas and opinions can come together.
And maybe even spark some innovation.
Exactly. It's all part of Dr. Almeida's philosophy of creating a more connected and human-centric workplace.
I'm really starting to see how all of this connects to his experience with 9/11.
It's like he's saying life is too short to waste time on meaningless work and superficial relationships.
Right. We need to be intentional about building connections and making a positive impact.
That's it. And that's what his whole approach to skip-level meetings is all about.
Okay, so I'm officially on board with this whole skip level thing. But tell me more about the spreadsheet. How does it actually work?
We're going to get into all the nitty-gritty details of that in the next part of our deep dive. But first, let's take a quick...
Hold on, wait a minute. We can't stop there.
Don't worry, we're just taking a short break, and then we'll be right back to explore the spreadsheet and all the cool things you can do with it.
Okay, you've got me hooked. I'm ready to keep digging.
Great. Then stay tuned for part 2 of our deep dive into the surprising power of skip-level meetings.
I'm ready when you are.
Let's take a quick break. Want to equip your child with the skills of top global consultants? Don't let them fall behind. Raising Tomorrow's Leaders, The Consultant's Mindset by Dr. Jareau Almeyda is your guide to fostering essential skills in your children for their lifelong success. Available now on Amazon. Okay, welcome back.
Okay, so last time we were talking about the spreadsheet.
Yeah, Dr. Almeida's spreadsheet.
Right, that's the one. So we talked about how it helps organize these skip-level meetings, but you mentioned his 9/11 experience might give us even more insights into his leadership style.
Definitely. In his LinkedIn article, he talks about how that day really made him realize how precious life is.
Yeah, you don't really think about that until something like that happens.
Right. And it shifted his focus to things that really matter, like building genuine connections.
It's interesting to think about that in a business context,
Yeah.
because so often it's all about the bottom line, you know?
Numbers and deadlines.
Exactly. But Dr. Almeyda's approach seems to be more about the human side of things.
It's like he's saying, what's the point of all the success if you're not building real relationships along the way?
That's a good point. And you can really see that reflected in how he structures these skip-level meetings.
Right. It's not just about checking boxes or giving orders.
It's about actually connecting with people.
Exactly. Remember those icebreaker questions we talked about?
Yeah, like, what do you love most about your city?
Right. Those aren't just there to fill time.
It's about finding common ground and showing that you actually care about the person.
Exactly. It's a good reminder that we're all human beings with shared experiences.
Yeah, we're not just robots working in a company.
And I think that's a really important message for leaders to hear.
Especially in today's world where everything is so fast-paced and impersonal.
It's easy to forget the human element.
And that's what Dr. Almeyda is trying to bring back.
Exactly. You know, it's interesting because he didn't actually start out in business.
Oh, really?
He started his career in IT.
IT.
Ah,
Huh. That's not really what you'd think of as a people-centric field.
right. But then he got his MBA and then a PhD.
Wow, overachiever, much.
And he's also a published author. And get this, he even had a dance video website back in the day.
Wait, a dance video website? You're kidding?
Nope, it was a thing. This was before YouTube.
So he's like a multi-talented Renaissance man.
He's definitely not afraid to try new things.
And I bet all those different experiences have shaped his leadership style.
I think so. He's not just coming at it from a purely business perspective.
He's bringing all these other things to the table.
And that gives him a unique perspective.
Like he can see things that other people might miss.
Exactly. And that's what makes his insights about skip-level meetings so valuable.
He's not just talking the talk.
He's walked the walk.
Exactly. He's lived it. And he's seen how powerful these meetings can be.
And it all goes back to that idea of human connection.
Right. That's the foundation.
So remember that question we asked earlier?
Question?
About whether skip-level meetings could be a step towards a more human-centric work culture.
Oh, yeah. I think the answer is definitely yes.
Because in a world where work can often feel transactional and cold, these meetings offer a way to reconnect with the human element.
It's about seeing each other as individuals, not just cogs in a machine.
And that connection can lead to all sorts of good things.
Like trust and collaboration.
Exactly. And it can even lead to better business outcomes.
Because when people feel valued and connected, they're more likely to be engaged and productive.
That's so true. And you know what that reminds me of?
What?
Another cool detail from Dr. Almeyda's spreadsheet.
More spreadsheet secrets. I'm all ears.
Remember how we talked about his system for making sure there's a diversity of perspectives in each skip-level group?
Yeah, the whole not grouping people who report to the same manager together thing.
Right. Well, he takes it even further. In his spreadsheet, he asks these questions. How many distinct managers do we have? How many distinct employees do we have? How many distinct groups do we have?
Okay, but what's the point of those questions?
It's all about making sure that every single employee has the chance to connect with a leader who's not their direct manager.
Ah, I see. It's about widening the network.
Exactly. It's like creating a safety net of relationships where people can go for advice or guidance or just a listening ear.
And that's something that's really important, especially in today's work environment.
With remote work and hybrid teams, it can be hard to build those connections.
So these skip-level meetings can be a way to bridge that gap.
Exactly. And they can also help to break down silos between departments.
Because you're bringing people together who wouldn't normally interact.
And that can lead to all sorts of new ideas and collaborations.
Like cross-pollination.
Exactly. So I think the main takeaway here is that skip-level meetings are not just about gathering feedback or solving problems.
They're about building relationships.
And fostering a sense of belonging.
And creating a culture where people feel valued and supported.
And that's something that can benefit everyone.
Absolutely. So I think we've covered a lot of ground here about the why behind skip-level meetings.
Now let's talk about the how.
The practical stuff.
Exactly. How can you, the listener, make the most of these opportunities?
Because, let's be real, sitting down with your manager can be a little nerve-wracking.
All right, so we've talked a lot about why skip levels matter. Now let's get down to brass tacks. How can you actually make the most of these meetings?
Yeah, because, let's be honest, it can be a little intimidating, you know?
Totally. Sitting down with your manager's manager can feel like a high-stakes situation.
Like you're under a microscope or something.
Right. But here's the thing, instead of thinking of it as some kind of test or evaluation, think of it as a chance to just have a conversation.
A conversation with someone who's actually interested in your growth and the success of the company.
Exactly. And Dr. Almeida actually gives you a ton of great questions to use in these meetings.
Oh yeah, he does. He's got questions for everything.
From personal interests to career goals to feedback on your direct manager to even suggestions for improving the whole company.
It's like a cheat sheet for skip-level success.
Exactly. And the point is, you're not just there to answer questions. You're there to share your thoughts and ideas and really show your value.
Be proactive.
Right. One of my favorite questions he suggests is, if you were in charge, what's one change you would make here?
Ooh, that's a good one. It makes you think big picture.
And it shows that you're not just focused on your little corner of the world.
You're thinking about how to make the whole company better.
Exactly. And that can really impress leadership, especially if you're looking to move up in the company.
Speaking of moving up, Dr. Almeida's spreadsheet even have a whole section on professional development.
Oh, yeah, with questions like, what skills should I be focusing on developing to move forward in my career?
Are there any opportunities for mentorship or cross-training that I could explore?
Those are great questions to ask if you're feeling a little lost or uncertain about your next steps.
It's like getting free career coaching from a senior leader.
Exactly. So to sum it all up, I think the big takeaway here is that skip-level meetings are a huge opportunity.
Not just something to dread.
Right. If you approach them the right way, they can really help you advance your career and make a difference in the company.
And who knows, maybe one conversation could lead to your next big break.
Absolutely. So don't underestimate the power of skip-level meetings.
They might just surprise you.
I think that's a great place to wrap things up. So thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the surprisingly awesome world of skip-level meetings.
It's been fun.
And hopefully you've learned some valuable tips and tricks that you can use in your own career.
Go forth and conquer those skip levels.